Again, thank you everyone for taking time out of your day to join us. My name is Matthew Maurer, and I'm a marketing coordinator at Coastal Business Supplies. And today I'm joined by none other than Jimmy Lamb of Sawgrass Technologies, who is the manager of education and communications at Sawgrass, with over 25 years of experience in the apparel decoration
You
industry.
know, you don't have to read the whole thing, Matthew. We just say just Jimmy's here. How's that sound?
Jimmy's here. Jimmy with
Jimmy's
Sawgrass.
here. Yeah, that
Nonetheless,
worked.
today he's going to be talking to us about the brand new SG500 and SG1000 series printers, which if you haven't seen, they have a host of exciting new features that he's going to go through, as well as a lot of new exciting things coming down the pipe at Sawgrass that'll be here before you know it. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to you, Jimmy.
Thanks, Matthew. Great to be here. And everybody, as Matthew just said, we are working on a new webinar platform here. So it's kind of fun because I get to push new buttons here, and there's lots of pretty colors on my end. So anyway, with that said, we're going to go ahead and get started here. And yes, we're going to look at the new printers and a couple of other things there along the way. And I know right now it's sort of a strange time, right? We all know that. But you know, I feel like we're going to get through this, and once we get things turned back around, things are definitely going to get better. And you know what? There's going to be some new technology, some new products and services that are waiting for you to help you get your business back up where it was, and hopefully take it far beyond. So with that said, let's start talking about things here. Now, let's just go backwards for a minute. I've actually been with Sawgrass over 10 years, but just looking at the last 5 years and some of the things that we've done, and we've been around, you know, over 30 years, to be honest, but just in the last 5 years, back in 2014, we released our first generation of printers that we had a part in designing, okay? The SG400, SG800. A lot of you are using those, you're familiar with it, and they were replacing the Ricoh generation. Now, with the Ricoh generation, we had partnered up with Ricoh and used printers that they had manufactured and made ink and software for them. It was a great package. It was a great partnership. But we really and truly wanted to build a printer from the ground up that we had influence on the design features internally, okay, where everything really happens. As well, we wanted to be able to design an ink for that, and at the same time, we wanted the printer designed around the ink so that they actually were integrated instead of just putting ink in a standalone printer. And that's what we got with the SG400 and SG800. Along the way, we put in Creative Studio because there's lots of people like me who are not very talented when it comes to graphics, and it became an easy way for people like myself to actually produce some things. Though I know a lot of you use Photoshop and CorelDRAW and do far better than me, and that's fine because all that works with the printers as well. We also wanted to dig deeper into color management, and we created the Virtuoso Print Manager 4, and that replaced PowerDriver for any of you that may have been using earlier legacy printers, such as the Ricohs and some of the Epsons that we have supported in the past. PowerDriver ran those, then VPM, Virtuoso Print Manager, replaced that. Around the same time, we also came out with our 8-color printer, the VJ628. So 2014, 2016, that was a big time for us. And it should be noted that the SG400, SG800 were the first desktop sublimation printers ever designed specifically for sublimation. All others are just basically office printers running sublimation ink. Well, we listened to what you had to say, what our dealers had to say along the way, and continuously have made improvements. So 2017 through 2019, we continue with our production of the 400 and the 800 and the VJ. We upgraded our Virtuoso Print Manager and introduced all kinds of features. Acts. It just says hot folder capability, but let me tell you, hot folders are cool, and not everybody really understands a hot folder. But the easiest way to describe it is it's a recipe. Okay, and think of it maybe even like a manila folder, right? That you have in the office, and you have a set of recipe characteristics that you want to apply. Let's say glass, for example. Okay, if you're going to sublimate glass routinely, one of the things about glass, we don't mirror the image, for example. Okay, so that's part of the recipe. Don't mirror it, and we can set some different color settings, et cetera, and then we can save it. And all those attributes or that recipe are in that folder. So you could create something, okay, with using any graphics program you want, drop the image literally in the folder, because you can have the folder on your desktop, and boom, all the attributes are applied to it. It's really cool stuff, okay, if you haven't had a chance to use it. But anyway, that's just one of many things that we did. Got a lot of requests to expand Creative Studio, new features, functions, to add more premium content, more stock designs, and so we've done a lot with that. And then we've worked with our other partners. Caesar's one of them, where we work with them to put together the sublimatable vinyl. Okay, so there's a lot of cool things happening out there that we've done over the last couple of years. All right, so now let's see where we're at now. We're at 2020, and for 2020, we have not only come out with a new generation of printers, okay, we've also come out with a new generation of ink, Print Manager, Creative Studio, some new products you've probably not even heard of called Go Expression and Go Exchange. We have our Sawgrass Academy coming along, and we've also made a lot of changes in support. So we're going to look at all that here as we go through. So anyway, with that said, let's start with printers. So in looking at the printers, we put 18 months of time into developing our new generation, okay? And the new generation is really being released pretty much as we speak. And in this case, we updated 2 printers, our SG400 and SG800, and we are going to retire those models, and we've replaced them with new models. Now, if you have the old models, don't worry, because we're not discontinuing to service the old models. You'll still be able to get service and support, inks, whatever you need, okay? It's just a matter of the hardware. The hardware has now been updated, upgraded, so it's the new model coming out to replace the old. That's what you're going to see. We've made a lot of changes that you don't see. Okay, a lot of the changes happen inside a printer rather than on the outside. There's a few changes on the outside, and there's a few new toys that you're going to encounter along the way. But so much happens behind the scenes, okay, because that's where we work with the management of the ink to get those best images. And so we've collected so much data from everyone, put that into it, and now we have put these into play. And welcome to the SG500 and the SG1000. Now, with the 500 and the 1000, as you might imagine, the 500 does replace the 400, and the 1000 replaces the 800. And you can see the similarities there. Looks almost identical to the ones that we have out there, but there are some significant differences even in what you're seeing in the pictures, okay? I like the control panel. But really and truly, I think that what you're going to find that you probably like the best out of this is that we have now enabled Wi-Fi for these printers, okay? In the past, as you know, everything is done with a cable, but these printers now are Wi-Fi enabled printers. So we have that. The control panel is larger and more responsive. The display, it's easier to read, in other words. And it's also backlit, which helps as well, okay? Plus, we added a new resolution. It used to be we could do 1200 by 1200 DPI in our advanced photo setting, and that was pretty much it. But now we are able to do 4880 by 1200 in using our ultra fine settings. So this is like the highest resolution yet for sublimation coming out of desktop printer, which again expands the quality of what you can print with the system. A lot of exciting stuff there. Now, as I said, inside, okay, we're just going to jump through this real quick just to let you know some of the things we've done. New, faster processor. So always with computers, we're always trying to process data faster, and that allows us to handle more data and get better results out of it. We had found from time to time some people had problems with paper skewing or some paper misfeeds in their SG400 and SG800, so we've actually made some changes to eliminate that. We made it easier to get to what's called a capping station in the maintenance mode. In other words, we can actually move the print heads to be able to access other things, which we really couldn't do before. We have something called an encoder strip. It's not that important for you to really understand the encoder strip, but it was very sensitive to things like dust accumulation. So by redesigning it, we fixed that problem. And drum roll, please, we've added a 2-year warranty. 2-year warranty standard with these printers. All right, so just to show off a little bit of those changes that you'll never notice after this webinar, you can see in the SG400 and 800, there's a long silver bar across the center of the image with a red circle where the bar is actually joined. So it's actually a 2-piece bar joined in the center. This was the roller bar. The new roller bar you can see over on the right doesn't have a connection. It's solid all the way across. So it's just a little change like that makes a huge difference for you in how things output and flow through the system. Okay, so those are those really cool things I'll talk about that are inside. You know, here's an encoder strip. I know you're excited with the encoder strip, but you see the older plastic one where you didn't have the gaps that you see in the new aluminum one, and it would, because there were things were closer together, it would fill it with dust, it would slow things down, you have an issue, so we made it better. Okay, and so these are kind of things our engineers are always looking at is, you know, what causes issues that maybe you have, and then track it down to whatever the origin is, fix that in our new generation printers. Now, the new resolution, which I mentioned, the 4880 by 1200, I mean, that is just awesome. I mean, when I look at 4-color desktop printers, what we're doing today versus what we were doing 10 years ago when I started working with Sawgrass, I mean, it's incredible how much we've moved forward in print quality, imaging, resolution, etc. You know, one of the things that's interesting, because I get to work on the how does that thing work side of things, right, is that when we create images with a inkjet printer, it's all about the dots. Okay, we're putting down little teeny tiny droplets of ink. Where the droplet goes, how big the droplet is, you know, controlling all those kind of things is what's helping us control the image quality. And so there's a lot of processing power that controls those tiny little droplets of ink. When you get them done right, you get great imaging. If you don't get it done right, you don't get great imaging. So, you know, some of the new things here not only are giving us better resolution, but they're also reducing black dot specking on hard surfaces, which, you know, can be very minuscule, but on a key photo, that could be a problem. So once again, our engineers figured out a solution, incorporated it in, and this system's just that much better. Now, for those of you who already have an SG400 or an SG800, there's a couple of things, just a couple of things on these new printers that are backwards compatible. Okay, if you happen to have a bypass tray or an option tray, your SG400 bypass or option tray will fit the SG500. If you have an SG800 that has a bypass tray and or an option tray, those will also fit the SG1000. So you wouldn't have to replace them if you bought the, you know, new printer. I mean, because most of you, you're not going to retire the old printer anyway. If it's time for a new printer, unless you have something that's really old, but if you're just moving up one generation, you're probably going to keep the old generation too, so that you have more printing power. But the inks are not compatible, so keep that in mind. The ink that it goes into our new printer does not work in the SG400 and SG800, and those inks don't work in the new printers. All right. By the way, the waste ink tanks do work. And if you listen to me very much, you know that I'm a big proponent of always have a spare waste ink tank, because once it fills up, everything shuts down. Okay, that's pretty important. Have that spare. All righty. Oh, and did I mention the 2-year warranty? Yeah, I did. So 2-year warranty, folks. Okay, 2-year warranty. All right, inks. Well, when we do a new generation of printers, because we have more features, functionality, new designs, more technology, more processing, we're always able to work in and improve chemistry for our inks. So we did the same thing here. We came up with an ink set just specifically built for this printer. It's called Sublimation UHD. Now, a lot of times when you see the letter U, everyone seems to think it's UV resistance. It doesn't have anything to do with that. Okay, it's ultra high def, but it's the same UV resistance as the existing Sublimation HD, which you would be using in your SG400 and SG800. So the U is not for ultraviolet, but it is a better quality ink. Okay, more environmentally sustainable formulation and deeper, more neutral blacks. And sometimes black can be a real challenge. So we're always working on that. Just remember, we design our inks here in the US, and we process them here ourselves. And so we do all our own testing, our own recipes. Okay, these are our inks, nobody else's. We don't buy them from another company and then put our label on them. The Chromoblast, if you're a Chromoblast user or looking to get into Chromoblast, we do have the new printers for Chromoblast as well, and they'll be using the Chromoblast UHD ink. If you're an Easy Subli user, then you will be fine with the actual ink that is already existing for that, if you're using the Easy Subli ink. Some of you still use our standard sublimation ink and just the vinyl. So it just depends on how you have things set up. Now, I like to brag sometimes about what we do, because a lot of people don't realize what we do. And I realize, you know, at the end of the day, you want to make a sale and collect the money, okay? But it's part of what you get when you buy Sawgrass, because we don't just make ink. We go through all kinds of testing and certifications. And here's just a list of things that are certifications for either our inks or printers or both. I mean, we work very hard to achieve these certifications and making sure that, number one, we're developing the best possible product that we can, and number two, that you're getting the best quality products out of us, okay? Because they have been tested and certified by third parties that have high levels of standards. You don't need to worry about what all those things actually mean, but I can tell you, you just don't walk up and grab those as stickers and stick them on something. Okay, you do have to get the certifications, and that's the kind of things that we put into our products. That's the kind of things you're getting when you buy into Sawgrass. So let's touch on the print manager real quick. Depending on how long you've been working with our products, you may have started with Power Driver. Power Driver was very popular with the Ricoh printers. And then when we went to the SG400 and 800, we came out with our Virtuoso Print Manager, or VPM. And we took, you know, a lot of features from Power Driver and put together VPM, then added more things to it. Now, we do know from feedback that there are people who just loved Power Driver. They just really love Power Driver. So we decided this year to come out with a new print manager, which we call Sawgrass Print Manager. And we went back and looked at Power Driver, and we looked at VPM, and we took the most popular features out of both and put them together into the Sawgrass Print Manager. Now, if you've been using the VPM, the Virtuoso Print Manager, the environment still looks and feels very similar to what you had. But again, there's things that are going on behind the scenes, okay, with this. And we've tried to make it easier to use and to make it, I guess you could say, a little smarter to use to some degree. We've also integrated it more fully with Creative Studio. So if you're actually a Creative Studio user, instead of just creating a design and then downloading it to print with VPM, you're actually setting everything up in Creative Studio. You're actually setting up your print job within Creative Studio. Now, if you're not using Creative Studio, you're going to use VPM like you always have. You can export to it from Photoshop, Corel, Silhouette, all kinds of different programs. You can do a standard export. You can export through a hot folder. You can do imports from VPM, reaching out to those programs. Lots of different ways you can use it. And it's all included, okay? That's the thing, it's all included. When you buy your printer, you get Creative Studio, which was designed specifically for the printer and the inks, and you get Sawgrass Print Manager, designed specifically for the system. These are all integrated. All the components talk to each other. They're all designed around each other. So you have a totally integrated system. You buy that, of course, through Coastal, and Coastal has tech support and sales team that can help you make the right choices. And then we back them up with our tech support and our product development team. Creative Studio, wow. For any of you who use Creative Studio, you may have noticed that we put out essentially what I will call a beta version online so that you can see the changes coming down. And there's a lot of changes. We really completely redesigned the user interface. We put in some new features, new functionality, and there's a lot of things that are going to be changing with Creative Studio platform. And by the way, if you've actually gone and played with Creative Studio Online, you may, with feedback from the earlier versions since we were putting out, let me make this clear. We have the existing version that's been around for a couple of years online right now that you still are probably using every day for you that do Creative Studio. And then we have that new version that you can go play with, okay? So you can kind of start getting familiar with it. So we already gotten feedback, and a lot of people say, well, I didn't see this feature, or where's this, where's that? But I'll tell you, keep playing with that new version because we keep adding new features into it like almost every other day. And this is what we're going to be moving towards because it's a cleaner interface. It's got some really cool stuff in it too, I got to tell you, and there's more coming along. Now, if you're like me, maybe you're a little slow to change, okay? I helped with the first Creative Studio, getting all the training out there. I did 90 videos, okay, to help people learn how to use it. So even myself, it's taken me a little while to start making that switch over. But with the switch over, it's going to bring us into a new age of possibilities, which I'm going to touch on here in just a minute. Okay, just a quick summary on what we've done with Creative Studio. We have a totally new design engine. We've been adding a lot more content, especially premium content that people have been requesting. We've been bringing in artists from all over the world to bring in new images to put in there. We've setting it up so we can connect directly to social media channels so that you can just sit there and create virtual products and put them out there for people to see. And a lot of these products, these virtual images, are actually using photography for the substrate instead of a sketch or a drawing of the substrate. So you see what looks like total realism, okay? And of course, it's integrated with Sawgrass Print Manager, and it will also work, the new version works with SG400 and SG800 printers as well. So if you still have those, you don't have to worry about being pushed out of anything, okay? Now, one of the coolest things on here, I gotta tell you, okay, by far my favorite new feature. For any of you that have used Creative Studio, you know that you could do a rendering, and a lot of the renderings on flat things like, plaques and all, they look pretty realistic, right? But you can never do a virtual rendering on anything that was round, like a mug or a water bottle, right? You just couldn't do it. What you could show the customer was you see an image of the water bottle with a square rectangle, I said square rectangle, whatever, next to it that had the image you created. So it didn't look realistic, right? Now we have it where we have a 3D preview of the rounded products, which means that whatever you created not only wraps around that mug, but you can take that mug and you can move it around and look at it from virtually any different angle, 360 degrees. I mean, it's crazy cool, okay? Now, now you have things where you can really show people what it looks like, which is really great, right? And you're going to see where this will tie into something else that's really cool too that I'm getting ready to hit in just 1 second. Couple of things real quick. You can upload your own fonts now. Folders, okay? What about folders? Hey, people have been asking folders forever. Remember all the things you created was in one big folder? Yeah, now you can create all the folders you want. You can separate things out much easier to make it all work, okay? Advanced text editing, oh my gosh, the stuff that we've added. One of my complaints used to be making arcs. I just didn't feel like the the previous generation, first generation of Creative Studio did arcing very well. Well, that tool is a whole lot better. And then we got all those kind of other cool, what I call text enhancements. Okay, just so many new things that are falling into place here. So it's pretty cool. And again, Creative Studio comes at no charge with your printer. Okay, when you buy your printer, you don't pay for Creative Studio. It comes at no charge. Your print manager comes at no charge. Okay, they're all included. It's just all part of the package. Now, we do have a premium version in Creative Studio, which is optional. If you want to be able to get like brand new designs, stock designs dropped into your system, you know, every week, then you would sign up for our premium content. Okay, which is what is it? $19.95 a month, I believe. So, but that's totally optional. But this all comes with it. Okay, this all comes with your system. Okay. Well, one of the cool things that Creative Studio 4 is going to do for you is link to something called Go Expression, something you may not have heard anything about yet. And I'm not giving you a full-blown, you know, demo today. Okay, we're going to have demos of this in webinars coming forth very soon. All right, I'm just going to give you a quick little teaser about what we did with Go Expression and how it ties in. So the concept of Go Expression is a marketplace community for sublimators. If you, for example, go look at Etsy, Etsy is a community marketplace for innovative designers, okay, or products. And what we were intending to do here is make it possible for you to easily get up and online with a store of your own. Now, Go Expression is not going to be full-blown fancy, you know, web store stuff. I mean, we needed to put together something that wasn't expensive, difficult, or technically challenging. We also wanted to put together something where we didn't have to charge you hosting fees and all that other stuff that you pay. So with the Go Expression site, you're going to have a basic website. It's going to be within our community, okay, our marketplace community, and there won't be any charge to set one up, to host it at all, believe it or not, okay? It will be something that you never have to actually invest money in, but you can actually make money by using. Now, it links to Creative Studio. So let's say that you have, let's say that you specialize in the pet marketplace and you have some really cool t-shirt designs you've created for pet owners to buy. You can immediately make them and you create very realistic virtual renderings in Creative Studio. And with just really a couple of clicks, it's online in your store, priced, and people can see it. They can come buy it. It runs 24/7, and I'm not kidding how easy this thing really is, okay? So it's interfacing Creative Studio. Now the question will come up, well, I don't use Creative Studio. That's okay. You can still create images, artwork, whatever, and whatever you use, say it's Photoshop, Illustrator, then use Creative Studio as a conduit to pass it over to Go Expression so that you can put it into your store for the world to see. Now, this also ties into social media. So as soon as you start posting on your store, you can go and flood the social media with your new stuff to bring people over to that website. If you have an existing website somewhere else, you can actually, you know, link to that. But this one actually will do all the credit cards for you, everything. Okay, we've set up everything, the gateways, everything, so that you know, it's turnkey. And we wanted, like I said, make it as easy as we could. I'm pretty impressed with it. It's had some more features added this week. Not that you get to see any of them yet, but it's pretty cool because the customer can actually go in and do some enhancements to the things that you create that you want to sell. Okay, so that's just a quick little teaser of what the Go Expression looks like. Now, we have another program we've come out that we're developing, and it's going to come out probably, Go Expression should be ready by the end of this month. And let me tell you something, right now, the way things are going, being able to get online and start selling pretty quick can be really helpful. You know, I'm sure it could help a lot because so many people are buying online right now because they're not able to go out to the stores. But Go Exchange is a little different. Okay, Go Exchange is not a store for you per se. Rather, it's we'll say it's a network, okay? And the idea is it's networking together sublimators, and we'll actually expand beyond sublimators, so that when you need to find someone else to help you fulfill a job, you can go into the Exchange and post the job. Now, think of it as, well, I kind of refer to it a little bit like the FTD florist concept, right? But let's just say for fun, okay, you've created some products that you're selling in your Grow Expression site, and suddenly somebody in France wants to buy some of the things that you have. Have you ever thought about what it would take for you to be able to produce it, ship it, all the international and all that other stuff to get it to France? Probably wouldn't be worth your while, okay? But through a network where you actually have gotten the order from France, and then you place it into the network, and because this is worldwide, okay, where, you know, sublimators in France saw it, they could actually take on the job, produce it, and deliver it to the customer for you. Okay, and it also works a little bit like how Uber does, because you know what happens with the Uber is you're staying on a street corner and you need a car, and Uber goes and looks for all the cars that are near you so that they can send one to you, and they're also looking at destinations, and the people driving the cars are deciding whether they want to go pick you up and take you to that destination or not. So behind this is a big engine that's like trying to link people together that makes sense. You need somebody in France, here's somebody in France who can do the job for you. And you know, it works in reverse, because if you want to be doing fulfillment for other people, then maybe somebody in France needs something delivered in Missouri, and you're in Missouri and you see that an order pop up, then you can grab the order and you can actually fulfill it, and you're going to make some money on it, and the person in France can make some money on it, and you know, it gets delivered to the customer. So it's a pretty intense system behind the scenes. The front part that you're using isn't quite so bad. Now, some of the questions I've gotten as we've talked about this is, well, how do I know that the person fulfilling on the other end does a good job? Well, this also has a rating system. So just like with Uber and some of the others, you can certainly rate them. And if they get bad ratings, they're going to be taken out of the system. I mean, we're not going to keep people fulfilling if they're not doing good ratings, okay? Also, this is useful, like maybe you have an SG400 and you need to print a sublimated flag, and you need somebody who has a VJ 625, right? So, or 628, excuse me. And you put it out there, and people that have the big printers can say, hey, I can do that for you. Okay. And so now you're finding people to pick up jobs that you cannot do because you're limited with your equipment. So that's what the whole idea of the exchange is. The exchange won't cost you anything. Okay. There's not a membership fee. You don't have to buy a subscription or anything like that. The idea is that you're interlinking people together that can work together, and yeah, who's ever fulfilling is going to make some of the money, and so are you, but you're still going to get the job. You know what I mean? So that's another really cool thing that we've been working hard on for many, many months. A lot of design work going on in the background, and you're going to see and hear a lot more about that here coming up. All right, Academy. Well, I've been doing educational seminars for a long time for Sawgrass, and we've always tried to help you, our customer, be more successful. You know, somebody like me, I've been in the industry for many, many years, but I've actually been a hands-on person. So I know what it's like to run a business. I know what it's like to be in your shoes, right? And so, you know, you come to webinars like this, you come to the Coastal Open House, and we meet and talk and chat, and we have a good time. But we wanted to maybe formalize the education a little bit more. We wanted to start building like online training modules, not just I'm going to go watch a video, but where you actually go into a training module where you're going to learn this and then learn that and then learn that, and they actually have some testing in there. Now, you don't have to pass the test, but the point being is it's testing you. You know, did you really learn what you wanted, you know, what you should have learned in there? So this is something we're working on that's going to be coming out later this year too. It'll be available 24/7. There'll be, yes, there will be videos and tutorials, but it's going to be done at a much more formalized level. So I'm real excited about Sawgrass Academy. This is one of the things I wanted to see for quite some time. Then we have our tech support group. What's new there? Well, we're trying to get more information in front of you 24/7. One thing I've learned, no matter what I was doing, whether it be embroidery, sublimation, digital printing, is that things only go wrong when there's no one to call. In other words, after hours, right? And you know, for me, I built my own network of people so I could start calling and emailing. And hey, wait, do you ever had this happen before? But we're now trying to build a very large, extensive knowledge base that has detailed information about the things that our customers have come to us about over the years, okay? Because we already have a pretty good catalog of things, okay, that we've learned along the way. So we're looking to put this out there where you as a Sawgrass customer can come in and find articles and resolutions on the most common support problems. We also want to turn it into a community where you can actually post and share articles with other people, like a lot of you are chatting right now in our chat section, and you're sharing information that way. So this is going to be, again, 24/7, probably the most advanced catalog of information we've ever put out about sublimation support. And for anybody that needs it, it will be in multiple languages. So there's a lot of just really great stuff happening there. And we really want to remind you, this is just the things that we think are important for you, our customer, and that's why we put it together this way. So quick wrap up there. This year, Sawgrass 2020, new printers, new inks, new print manager, new creative studio, Go Exchange, Go Expression Academy, all brand new. Okay, we haven't had these tools before. We want to go and be more than just your supplier of inks and printers. We want to be your supplier of business tools to help you grow your business and be successful. And just same with Coastal. They have that same desire as well, and we work with them. They're one of our partners to help get these things to you, and then also provide you the best support along the way. Keep in mind, I've said it before, I'm going to say it one more time. When you buy Sawgrass, we're the only people that have created a fully integrated desktop sublimation system. Okay, it's the only one in the world. Anything else that you buy out there is a printer and ink. We have fully integrated system plus all these optional new tools that we've been adding in as well. So think about that the next time you're actually printing with your Sawgrass system, everything that went to play and all of that. All righty then. I think that will cover everything for me today, and I do appreciate all your participation.
Hey, Jimmy, I'm not
Yes.
sure if you saw this question in chat, but it's a great question.
Okay.
Will the bypass tray from my Rico work with the new SG1000?
The one question I don't know the answer to. I'm going to guess it does, but it's one of the things that I would just say the safest thing to do is just go online and just send a quick email to our tech support and ask them that. I don't know if anything changed when they went from making the Rico like 7100 and 3110 over to the actual SGs. So I know the 400 and 800 fit the new ones, but I'm not positive about the Rico one. I think, but I'm not sure. So just go online to our tech support and send them a quick email, and they'll get back to you. Okay, that does it for me, Matthew. As always, if anyone has questions, feel free to contact me, J-Lamb at sawgrassinc.com, and I'll be glad to try and help you out with that. And look forward to doing some more webinars with you guys there at Coastal in the next 30 days or so.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the next one we have on the books is going over Sawgrass Print Manager, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and we may actually change the sequence, but I'll get back to you on that. By the way, somebody just said it didn't fit when I changed. So I'm assuming that their Rico bypass tray did not work with the SG system. Thank you for that, Miriam. Hey, I love this chat. Okay, all right, we're going to wrap it up there. Thanks, everybody, for coming out, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, all. Have a good one.
Okay, see you. Bye.